The stars whispered a warning as the Galactic Federation's cruiser drifted above Earth, a world shimmering blue, unguarded, unafraid. No shields hummed. The ghosts of rusted warships lurking in the moon's shadow, their hulls etched with kill counts older than alien empires. Why? The Federation demanded. Does humanity not fear the dark? Captain Elise Carter smirked, her hand hovering over a console labeled "Do Not Touch" in peeling red letters. Fear? She murmured, watching alien sensors blink obliviously at the thing coiled behind Saturn. We don't fear the dark. We taught it to fear us. Please wait. Before we start, tap that iCard button in the top right corner and smash that subscribe button. Right now. Hit the notification bell so you're first in line when new stories land. All right, let's dive into the story. The Galactic Federation's cruiser hung motionless above Earth, its polished silver hull glinting like a knife poised above the planet's throat. Ambassador Vrel's multifaceted eyes scanned the tactical displays, his antennae quivering with growing disbelief. No energy shields, no plasma batteries, not even a basic orbital sentry grid, just the gentle swirl of clouds and the faint glimmer of city lights. He turned to Captain Elise Carter, his mandibles clicking in a staccato rhythm that betrayed his agitation. This is a joke, yes? Some human humor we've yet to decode. Elise leaned against the observation rail, her boots crossed at the ankles. She looked more like a soldier on coffee break than a diplomat. No joke, ambassador. What you see is what you get. Vrel's exoskeleton rattled as he gestured sharply toward the viewport. Unacceptable. Every species in the Federation invests in planetary defense. Even the Grell, pacifist algae farmers, have shield generators. Shields are passive, Elise said, shrugging. We prefer proactive solutions. Proactive? Vrel's antennae flattened against his skull. Your solutions are recklessness dressed as strategy. Without defenses, your world is a buffet for raiders, pirates, warlords. A shrill alarm sliced through the chamber, painting the walls crimson. A Federation aide skidded into the room, her clawed feet scraping the floor. Ambassador, long-range sensors detect an unidentified fleet inbound, bearing 224 Mark 17. They're charging weapons. Vrel whirled to Elise, his voice rising. Evacuate your population to underground shelters immediately. We can dispatch a defense wing from Centauri Prime in 6 hours. 6 hours. Elise snorted, tapping her earpiece. They'll be parking their ships in Times Square by then. She raised her voice, crisp and clear. Nemesis Command? Light him up. Vrel bristled. This is no time for bravado, Captain. Those are Crotheran raiders. They'll glass your cities. Glass requires heat. Elise grinned, nodding at the viewport. Let's see if they brought oven mitts. Deep in the blackness beyond the moon, shadows stirred. Ancient hulls, pocked by centuries of micro-impacts, slid into the light. Their designs were brutal, angular, unadorned, their weapon ports gaping like hollow eyes. The lead ship's designation, EDS-001, glowed faintly beneath layers of cosmic rime. Vrelis et Gasped. Those vessels, their tech is primitive. No plasma coils, no gravitic shields. Correct, Elise said, her smile sharpening. Those railguns fire solid tungsten slugs. Each one weighs half a ton. No fancy energy signatures to jam. No shields to overload. Just good old kinetic hate. The Raider fleet surged forward, their scavenged warships belching plasma. A Crotheran warlord's face flickered onto the comm screen, a jagged scar splitting his muzzle. Patatikumans. Your bones will float in the void. Elise tilted her head. Funny. Your mom said the same thing last night. The warlord's roar dissolved into static as the EDS-001 opened fire. Railgun slugs tore through his flagship's hull, shredding bulkheads like wet paper. Secondary explosions rippled through the raider formation, silent and deadly in the vacuum. Vrel gripped the observation rail, his compound eyes reflecting the blossoming fireballs. You kept a war fleet hidden? For how long? Since the asteroid wars, Elise said, watching the carnage with detached interest. 2314, I think. Anyway, we retired M when the colonies settled down. But decommissioning's expensive. So we just left them parked. Parked. Vrel's voice flattened. With loaded weapons. Maintenance crews get bored. She winked. Besides, turns out 300-year-old guns still kill just fine. The last raider's ship cracked open like an egg, its reactor core vomiting light. Elise pushed off the rail and tossed Vrel a datapad. Here, send that to your council. Footage of our proactive solutions. He stared at the screen, a close-up of a Crotheran bridge crew vaporizing mid-scream. This is barbaric. No, Elise said, her smile fading. Barbaric is what happens if you ever force us to build something new. She strode toward the exit, pausing at the door. Oh, an ambassador? Tell the Federation to keep their inspections on the ground. Our orbit's cluttered enough. The door hissed shut. Vrel stared at the debris field outside, where the Raiders' remains drifted toward Earth's gravity well. Somewhere below, he realized humans were probably cheering. The Raider fleets surged through the void, their engines belching radioactive exhaust as Korshin's flagship, the Scarred Maw, led the pack. Inside the grime-caked bridge, the Crotheran warlord leaned over his tactical officer's shoulder, yellowed fangs bared. Status of their defenses? Still nothing. The officer barked, claws clacking across the console. No shield spikes, no weapon signatures, just a few obsolete satellites. Corzon threw his head back and laughed. The sound like gravel in a wood chipper. Fools! They think their history scares us? Helm, full burn. I want their capital city glowing by sunrise. A younger raider, his fur still patchy from his first molt, hesitated. But sir, the Federation cruiser nearby, Fa. The Federation polices petty thieves, not warriors. Corzon slammed a fist on the comms panel, his face filling every human frequency. Earthlings, grovel now, and I'll kill your children quickly. On the Federation observation deck, Vrel's antennae trembled as the threat echoed through the speakers. Captain Carter, even now you won't activate defenses? Elise didn't look up from her wrist display. Defenses are active. Where? She nodded toward the moon. Right on time. A chorus of alarms erupted from the Raider fleet. Korshin's tactical officer froze. Sir, multiple contacts. Emerging from lunar orbit. Federation reinforcements? No. Their IFF tags are ancient. Human military codes. The first of the Shadow ships slid into view, its hull a patchwork of welded armor plates and crude repair scars. The EDS Nemesis loomed like a cleaver, its railgun batteries rotating with mechanical clunks. Corzon sneered. Relics. Target that rust bucket first. The Nemesis fired. No energy beams. No missiles. Just a deafening crack as hypersonic slugs tore through the Scarred Maw's forward shields like they were wet parchment. Bulkhead screamed. Atmosphere vented. Elise whistled. Oops. Forgot to mention, those relics pack uranium-tipped party favors. Vrel gaped at the view screen. You stripped your museums? Who said they were ever unarmed? On the Raider comms, Korshin's voice turned shrill. Focus fire. Bring down that. The Nemesis fired again. A slug the size of a ground car punched through the Scarred Maw's reactor core, detonating it in a silent bloom of plasma. Vrel flinched. That was their command ship. Yep. Elise popped a stick of gum into her mouth. Pro tip. Don't monologue. Chaos engulfed the Raider fleet. Ships veered wildly, colliding as they tried to flee. A panic transmission broke through. Fall back. Fall. The Nemesis's railguns spoke again. 3 more ships disintegrated. Remarkable, Vrel murmured. But why not use modern weapons? Elise grinned. These are modern. We just never changed the ammo. She tapped her display, zooming in on a raider frigate desperately launching missiles. The projectiles detonated harmlessly against the Nemesis's meter-thick armor. See? No fancy plasma to overload. No buixchildimitis. Just good old-fashioned steel. A surviving raider corvette spun toward Earth, engines flaring. You won't catch us all, human. We'll glass you. The Nemesis's point defense gun swiveled. A hail of tungsten shrapnel shredded the corvette's thrusters, sending it spiraling into the atmosphere. Elise winced. Hope they packed heat shields. Vrel stared as the burning wreck streaked across the Pacific. You're enjoying this. Ambassador, we haven't had a proper scrap in decades. She leaned closer, her voice dropping. You think this is scary? Wait till you see what we built when we got bored. Outside, the last raider's ship powered down its weapons. A trembling voice crackled over comms. We surrender. Mercy. The Nemesis's guns hummed. Elise sighed. They're no fun. She keyed the comm. Nemesis command, stand down. Let the Federation arrest him. Vrel's antennae quivered. You'd show restraint now? Restraint. Elise snorted. Nah, we just want prisoners to spread the real story. She gestured to the smoldering debris. Tell the galaxy what happens when you poke Earth. Tell them we're not hiding behind shields. She strode toward the exit, pausing at the door. Oh, an ambassador? Next time someone asks why we don't have a defense grid. Outside, the Nemesis's floodlights flickered on, illuminating its hull and the thousands of kill markers etched beneath its bridge. Elise's smile turned icy. Tell them we're too busy writing invitations. The observation deck fell silent, save for the faint hiss of recycled air. Ambassador Vrel stared at the tactical feed, with the Nemesis's boarding pods, clunky, riveted things, latched onto a crippled raider vessel. You're boarding them? In this era? Elise shrugged, scrolling through casualty reports on her tablet. Old habits die hard. Besides, prisoners are chatty. Chatty. Vrel's mandibles clattered. You could have obliterated that ship from here. Where's the fun in that? She smirked. Gotta keep the Marines sharp. Last week, they were giving tours to school kids on the Nemesis. Cute, right? This is where we eviscerated the Martian separatists. A shudder rippled through Vrel's exoskeleton as the feed switched to helmet cam footage. Human soldiers in outdated power armor stormed the raider ship, their shotguns booming in the cramped corridors. One Marine yanked a Crothern raider off his feet by the horns. Welcome to Earth, Chuckles. Hope you like handshake diplomacy. Elise chuckled. See? Cultural exchange. Vrel whirled on her. This is savagery. The Federation outlaws boarding actions. They're uncivilized. Outlaws. Elise arched an eyebrow. Or just scared of getting their claws dirty? The feed cut to a raider officer, backed into a corner, raising a plasma pistol. A Marine kicked it aside, then tossed him a knife. Come on, tough guy. Let's make it sporting. Vrel recoiled. You let them fight? With blades. Tradition. Elise leaned back, propping her boots on the console. Marines call it closing the deal. Winners get bragging rights. Losers. She gestured as the raider lunged, only to get disarmed and pinned. Well, losers get timeouts. The Marine ripped off his helmet, revealing a grizzled face scarred like old leather. Y'all hear that? This one's squealing about a Verati armada heading our way. Vrel's antennae shot upright. Verati? Here. Elise sighed. Ugh, those guys. Third time this month. You're not concerned? The Verati crushed the Uralin Collective in hours. Did the Uralins have a nemesis? No, but then it's not my problem. She nodded to the Marine on screen, now duct taping the raider to a chair. Hey, Gunny, ask him if the Verati brought snacks this time. The Marine grinned. He says they've got a new flagship, Dreadstar something. Bigorenamun. Elise fake pouted. They still overcompensate. Vrel's claws dug into the console. Captain, this is no jest. The Variety Level Worlds. Thale Ambassador. Elise's voice dropped, sharp as a razor. You ever wonder why humans never joined your fancy defense accords? Because you're stubborn. Because we know. She pulled up a star map, highlighting a graveyard of dead civilizations. The Uralans? Shields are thicker than your skull. The Grindari? Planetary guns that could crack asteroids. All gone. Know why? Vrel hesitated. They lacked resolve. They lacked fear. Elise zoomed in on Earth, unshielded and gleaming. Shields make you comfortable. Guns make you lazy. But when you've got nothing, she tapped the Nemesis's icon, circling the planet like a wolf. You lure to bite first. A proximity alarm blared. Vrel jerked. More raiders? Nope. Elise pointed at the Nemesis's hangar doors yawned open. A swarm of ancient fighters, sleek, needle-nosed relics, spilled out, their engines screeching like banshees. Showtime. The fighters dove into the debris field, salvaging raider tech. One pilot hooped over comms. Jackpot. These morons had a Mark 7 plasma core. Elise rolled her eyes. Don't get cocky, Jansen. Last time you salvaged a core, you blew up Detroit. Hey, Detroit had it coming. Vrel massaged his temples. You let them loot during combat. Recycling's important. Elise grinned. Besides, half our museum ships are held together by spit and stolen bolts. Speaking of, she tapped her earpiece. Nemesis command? Tell engineering to save the good scrap for the apocalypse. Vrel froze. Apocalypse? Elise blinked, too innocent. Did I say that? Meant. Applesauce. Yeah. Classified dessert program. The ambassador lunged, blocking her exit. Where are you hiding, Carter? Outside, the Nemesis's guns abruptly swiveled. Not toward the raiders, but away, as if guarding something deeper in the dark. Elise sighed. Look, Vrel, you want to file a complaint? Do it after the Variety bited. She shoved past him, pausing at the door. Oh, and if you're still here tomorrow, bring popcorn. The Variety Armada is going to be a light show. As the door hissed shut, Vrel stared at the starfield and the unnatural shadow lurking just beyond Saturn's rings. The Federation Council chamber buzzed like a kicked hive, species of every shape and color shouting over each other in a dozen languages. High Chancellor Goran's scaled fist slammed the podium, cracking the obsidian surface. Silence. Captain Carter, explain this outrage. Elise stood at the center of the holographic floor, hands clasped behind her back, as relaxed as a sniper between shots. Which part? The winning? Or the part where we didn't die? Goran's frill flared crimson. You concealed a military fleet under historical preservation. The Accords prohibit. Elise wagged a finger. Article 12, subsection D. Cultural artifacts may retain functional elements for educational purposes. She pulled up a hologram of the Nemesis's railguns, a group of school children posing in front of them. See? Field trips. Very educational. A jellyfish-like delegate pulsed with fury. You stored live ammunition beside children. Kids love kinetic math. If a tungsten slug travels at Mach 30, enough. Goran's tail lashed, scattering a cluster of floating translators. The Variety Armada approaches Earth as we speak. Your museum will be ash. Elise yawned. Cool. We'll add survived Variety to the placards. Vrel stepped forward, his antennae twitching. Captain, this arrogance is fatal. The Variety have planet breakers. Your nemesis is a toy to them. Toy. Elise's smile faded. She snapped her fingers. The hologram shifted to a star chart, Earth glowing green amidst a sea of red Variety icons. Know why the nemesis is still around? Because every time someone tried to scrap her, a new war popped up. Martian rebellion, belt skirmishes, the Europa incident, a squid-like Admiral Inkjet hissed. Coincidence? Funny that. Elise zoomed in on the chart. Every conflict's epicenter aligned with the Nemesis's patrol routes. Almost like we let the rebels get brave, so we'd have an excuse to keep our guns warm. The chamber fell silent. Goran's frill paled. You provoked conflicts to justify keeping that monstrosity. Provoked? Nah, just didn't stop the idiots in time. Elise leaned on the podium, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. But hey, want to know what's really scary? The hologram changed. A classified file flickered. Project Apocalypse. Status. Active. Vrel's claws clenched. You said that name before. What is it? Elise swiped the file away too fast. Typos. Bureaucrats, am I right? Goran rounded on her. If Earth falls, the Federation won't lift a talon. You'll die defiant and alone. Elise straightened, her eyes glacial. We've been alone before. Ask the dinosaurs. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Chancellor? When the Virati break on Earth's shores. She tossed a data chip at his feet. It projected a live feed. The Nemesis leading a formation of even older ships, their hulls crusted with ice from deep space hiding places. Don't bother sending condolences. Send cleaning crews. In the corridor outside, Vrel cornered her. The apocalypse. Is it a weapon? Elise glanced at a passing janitor bot. Nope. A gardening tool. For pruning aggressive weeds. Captain. She spun, her humor gone. You want truths? The Nemesis is a warning shot. The Virati ignore it? Phoenix. Her finger jabbed toward a viewport where Saturn's rings shimmered. But tell your council this. Push us, and we'll dig up worse. Warships buried in glaciers. Platforms hidden in gas giants. Things that make the Nemesis look like a water pistol. Vrel's voice shook. Why? Because humans hate being told what to defend. She flicked a speck of dust off his carapace. Now scram. How about a war to win and a museum gift shop to stock? As she strode away, Vrel activated his comm command. Scramble a probe to Saturn's rings. Full stealth protocols. A pause. Ambassador, there's something there already. A thermal signature, mass equivalent to a small moon. Vrel stared at the retreating captain, her silhouette framed against the blood-red glow of the Virati advance. May the stars forgive us all. The secure briefing room smelled of stale coffee and paranoia. Elise slouched in a chair, boots propped on the table, as Vrel slammed the holopad down. Enough riddles, Carter. What is mad? She smirked. Ever hear of the 20th century? Nukes pointed at every capital? Mutually assured destruction kept the peace. You nuke us, we glass you. Simple. Vrel's antennae quivered. A dead doctrine. Modern shields can withstand. Shields don't stop determination. Elise flicked a switch. The walls dissolved into a hologram of ancient Earth, smoldering craters where cities once stood. See that? Berlin, 2145. Last time someone called our bluff. A grainy video played. Mushroom clouds boiling over a shattered landscape. Vrel recoiled. You annihilated your own kind? They did. Elise's voice turned flinty. Eastern Coalition thought we'd flinch. We didn't. The hologram zoomed to a bunker where a skeletal officer pressed a red button. 30 seconds later, their capital was ash. The feed cut to a cratered wasteland. Silence honti, Vrel whispered. Madness. Clarity. Elise leaned forward. After that, no one doubted. No ciels. No tritis. Just the knowing. Cross us, and we'll salt the earth with your bones. A proximity alarm beeped. Elise glanced at her wrist display. Speak of the devils. Virati Vanguard just crossed Pluto's orbit. Vrel stiffened. Your apocalypse, it's another bluff. You'd never risk. Elise stood abruptly, her chair screeching. You still don't get it. Mad's not a threat. It's a promise. She slammed her palm on the table. A hidden panel slid open, revealing a dusty console labeled EDS Apocalypse, Primary Control. Vrel stumbled back. You kept the planetary dead man switch. Dead man. Elise snorted. Nah, more like a hold my beer button. She punched in codes. The hologram shifted to Saturn's rings. Here, something colossal began to stir. Vrel's translator squeaked. That thermal signature. It's a battle station. Station's a stretch. More of an art project. The hologram zoomed in, a jagged sphere bristling with weaponry, its surface etched with faded graffiti. Kilroy was here, read one patch. Nuque Mars 2176. Screamed another. Behold, Elise spread her arms. The EDS Apocalypse, built during the Venusian Cold War. Parked it behind Saturn when the fighting got boring. Vrel's claws dug into the table. Its arm was supposed to be a museum, but the cadets kept sneaking in to refurbish it. She grinned. Kids these days so hands-on. The hologram flashed red. Varadi's signatures multiplied. A swarm of dagger-shaped ships. Elise sighed. Ugh, they brought the Dreadstar. Tacky neon engines. Compensating much. Vrel grabbed her arm. Activate your defenses. Now. She shook him off. Why? They're still in the driveway. Captain, relax. She tapped the console. The Apocalypse's core flared. A pulsing red light deep within. Old girl's got a party trick. Watch. Deep in the station's heart, a singularity reactor spun to life. Space itself warped around it. Vrel's translator choked. Gravitic weapon? That's impossible. Impossible's our specialty. Elise flopped back into her chair. Varadi shoot first. The apocalypse eats their bullets. Then their ships. Then their homeworld. The room shuddered as the hologram glitched, a side effect of the station's reality-bending wake. Vrel whispered, You doom billions. They chose the game. Elise's eyes gleamed. We just wrote the rules. A klaxon blared. The Varadi fleet surged forward, weapons flaring. Elise popped gum. Showtime. The Varadi armada flooded the solar system like a tidal wave of steel, their flagship Dreadstar casting a jagged shadow over Mars. On the Federation observation deck, species huddled at the viewports, translators buzzing with panic chatter. Ambassador Vrel gripped Elise's arm, his claws drawing blood. Activate the apocalypse. Now, Elise peeled his hand off, unfazed. Patience, Vrel. Latching posi. They paid for the whole runway. The Dreadstar's comms blared to life. Its commander, a hulking Varadi clad in blackened armor, sneering through a skull-like helmet. Earthlings, your relics amuse us. Surrender, and we'll spare your children. Elise leaned into the mic. Sorry, toaster face. We're fresh out of white flags. How about a middle finger instead? The Varadi roared, slamming a fist on his console. Destroy their pitiful station. 1,000 plasma lances streaked toward the apocalypse. The Federation delegates screamed, then gasped as the shots curved around the station, sucked into a swirling vortex of distorted space. Elise smirked. Singularity shield. Catches bullets and compliments. The Varadi commander barked orders. Launch the planet breakers. Target Earth. Missiles the size of skyscrapers erupted from the Dreadstar, trailing green fire. Elise yawned. Nemesis command? Play tag. The EDS Nemesis and her sister ships surged forward, railguns barking. Tungsten slugs punched through missile hulls, detonating their cores in chain reactions that lit up the void. A human tech cheered. Strike. That's $5, Jansen. Told you they'd go for the shiny rocks. Elise keyed the comm. Varadi dudes. Pro tip. Shooting at Earth's like poking a beehive. You'll get the apocalypse shuddered, its core glowing crimson. A beam of twisted space-time lanced out, tearing a hole through the Varadi formation. Ships crumpled like soda cans, their debris spiraling into the singularity. Vrel gaped. What is that? Gravitic shear beam. Elise inspected her nails. Turns dreadnoughts into confetti. Pass the popcorn. The Varadi commander's voice crackled, panicked. Fall back. Regroup at. The apocalypse fired again. The beam clipped the Dreadstar's wing, shearing off engines. Atmosphere vented in frozen plumes. Elise sighed. He's gonna need a tow. Vrel whirled on her. Finish them. They'll return with reinforcements. Return. Elise laughed. Watch. She opened a channel to the crippled Dreadstar. The commander appeared, helmet cracked, blood oozing down his face. Why you monsters? Monsters? Elise leaned forward. You glassed the Uralans because they asked for peace. You bombed the Grindari for resources. But us. Her voice dropped to a whisper. We don't have shields. We don't beg. We just hold grudges. The hologram split, half showing the commander, half zooming in on the Apocalypse's targeting array. Crosshairs centered on the Verati homeworld. Elise smiled. See that? That's a live feed. One order, and your planet becomes a new asteroid belt. The commander's bravado shattered. Why you wouldn't? Try me. Silence. Then, cease fire, the commander bellowed off-screen. All ships, power down weapons. Elise winked. Smart boy. Now, here's the deal. You crawl back to your hole. Tell every warlord, raider, and 2-bit conqueror what happens when you mess with Earth. The Verati nodded frantically. Yes. Yes, we'll, Elise tooted. You forgot the magic word. The commander trembled. Please. Good dog. She killed the feed and turned to Vrel. And that's how you RSVP to a genocide party. The Federation delegates erupted, some cheering, others vomiting. Goran stormed in, scales mottled with rage. You extorted them. That's not how civilized. Elise jabbed a finger at the retreating Verati. They're civilized. They negotiate, they scheme, they lose. We're the barbarians at the gate. She swept her hand across the starfield. Tell the galaxy this. Earth doesn't have shields because we don't hide. We stand naked in the dark, holding a flamethrower. Vrel stared at the Apocalypse, its weapons cooling. And if someone snuffs that flame? Elise grinned. Then they'll learn we've got matches for days. Outside, hidden within Neptune's storms, another shadow stirred. An even older terror, its hull etched with a single phrase. Last resort. The Federation Council chamber was tomb silent, every screen locked onto the EDS Apocalypse as its weapons powered down. Ambassador Vrel stared at the holographic feed, his antennae limp. It's over. Elise leaned against the podium, picking at a ration bar. Over? Nah, this is the trailer. High Chancellor Goran stormed in, flanked by armored guards. You've destabilized the galaxy. That station, it violates every treaty. Elise crumpled the wrapper and lobbed it into a trash can light years away on the hologram. We didn't sign your disarmament accords. Too busy dusting off the family photo album. She tapped a control. The feed zoomed out, revealing a dozen dormant stations hidden across the solar system, behind asteroids, in comet clouds, even buried in Mercury's molten crust. Goran's frill turned ashen. More. Apocalypses? Some are worse. Elise pointed to a jagged structure near Neptune. That's the EDS Last Resort, built during the Europa Ice Wars. Got a fun little black hole generator. Makes the Apocalypse look like a firecracker. A jellyfish delegate pulsed weakly. Why show us this? Because you'll spread the word. Elise hopped onto the podium, addressing the room. You want to know why Earth has no defense grid? Because every shield, every wall, every safe little bubble, she snapped her fingers. The hologram shifted to dead worlds, their shields flickering as invaders broke through. Fails. Always. Vrel stepped forward, voice trembling. But your way, it's madness. You provoke, you threaten, you survive. Elise's grin faded. You think we like this? Digging up old horrors? We'd love to build gardens instead of guns. But the galaxy? She gestured to the retreating Vorati blob on the feed. It's full of wolves. And wolves respect bigger teeth. Goran's tail lashed. You'll drown in your own paranoia. Paranoia. Elise pulled up a star map, highlighting 100 conflicts avoided. The Kroll hegemony backed off last year. The Sarnath Syndicate lost 3 fleets near Jupiter. Coincidence? She leaned in, her eyes hard. We don't wait for war. We stare it down until it blinks. Silence. Then, A tiny reptilian delegate raised a claw. What do you want from us? Elise shrugged. Nothing. Well, she tossed a data chip to Goran. Update your civilized species list. Add a footnote. Humans, don't poke. Laughter rippled through the room. Nervous at first, then roaring. Even Goran's guards cracked smiles. Vrel approached her, mandibles clicking softly. And if the wolves return? With bigger teeth. Elise nodded to the hologram, where the Apocalypse's crew, a mix of grizzled vets and cadets, were painting a fresh kill marker. Then we'll remind him. She flicked a switch, and the station's megaphones boomed across the chamber, playing an ancient human anthem. Drums, electric guitars, screaming vocals. Goran clapped his claws over his ear slits. Turn that noise off. Thunderstruck, Elise shouted over the din, air guitaring. Classic pre-war band. Teaches the kids two things, rhythm and resolve. As the delegates fled, hands clamped over their ears, Vrel lingered. This isn't over, Captain. Sure it is. Elise killed the music, the sudden silence ringing. The Varati'll slink home. The Raiders'll find softer targets. And you, she tossed him a Federation pin. You'll write a scathing report. Maybe even sanction us. He caught it, talons trembling. And you'll ignore it. Yep. She strode toward the exit, pausing at the door. But hey, next time you're in the neighborhood, check out the Apocalypse gift shop. T-shirts are half off. The door slid shut. Vrel turned to the hologram one last time. Earth, unshielded and unyielding, its rusty guardians drifting among the stars. Outside, Elise tapped her earpiece. Nemesis Command? Prep the last resort's reactivation codes. And someone fixed the damn coffee machine. A text voice crackled. Yes, ma'am. What if the Federation protests? Elise glanced back at the council chamber, where delegates argued over souvenir mugs. Tell him it's a cultural exhibit. As she walked away, the stars themselves seemed to dim, not out of fear, but respect. And that was the end of the story. Comment below if you want the next chapter, and hit that like button. Please subscribe, turn on the bell, and as always, keep the last light burning.